Welcome back to Simright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So in today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to drape this beautiful wrap gown. So this gown we have here, I've already made my basic bodice pattern for it. So what I have here is my shoulder line. This is my chest. This is the bust point line. This is the under bust point. And this is the waist or front line. So here I have all my basic darts, okay, the waist dart and the bust darts. I have it on both sides. So I'm drafting a full front bodice pattern because this particular wrap dress is going to cross from one side into the other, so you need the full basic bodice pattern. So this particular dress has no darts. As you can see right there on the thumbnail, there is no dart to this dress. But if you need a dart for it, simply go ahead and connect your princess dart. So if I'm working with this dress with a dart, I'll just go ahead and connect my princess dart. Of course, you know how to go about the princess dart. Just take your armhole, get the midpoint. With your pattern ruler, you just go ahead and connect this way, okay, and you contour your back. That is if you need a dart, but I'm making or drafting this dress exactly the way you see it there on the thumbnail. So the way it is on the thumbnail, if you look very well, there's no dart. We have it dartless, but I'm going to work showing the point of my dart, but of course I'm not going to close any of my darts. So right now, the first thing I want to do here is to get the sleeve measurement. The sleeve measurement, if you place your tape on the neckline, of course you know where you want your neckline to drop. So here I want my neckline from this point to drop at 4.5. So I just measured on my neckline and I want it to cross at 4.5. So you can just place your tape on the nape of your neck, wherever you want the neck to cross, then you make a mark to it. And that is what I've done right now. From my natural neckline, I'll come out by 1 inch for this dress, and I'm going to connect it to that my sleeve line, and I'm going to connect it to my dart leg, so you can see how I'm connecting it with my ruler. So if you are using the straight ruler, if the straight part of ruler, if it can go, fine and good. But if it will not go, you can just do exactly what I did here, finding the curvy part of it that will get to that point, and it does not affect anything at all. So next we want to do is to take the width of the cape. There's a little cape on that dress, so I'll be using 1.5 for that cape, and at the end of the day I'm going to trace it out. So you can see how I'm marking out my 1.5. So having marked my 1.5, I'm also going to place my ruler the same way I placed here. I'll bring it back to the 1.5, okay, following the dotted lines, and later I'll also go ahead this way, as you can see, to this point. Can you see that? That is it. So what I have here is my cape, and this cape right now I'm going to trace it out. So to trace out my cape, I'll just go ahead and pick up my piece of paper. So I'll come with my piece of paper, place my tape. So here you can see I'm seeing the lines of my cape. So I'll just go ahead on that line. I'll trace and I'll write up, and I'll come down and trace and I'll write down. Okay. So next I'll come in with my ruler the same way that way, and then I'll connect up to that way. Then alright, so that is that, and this is my cape. So I'm going to cut out this cape I traced right now. I'll set it aside. So I'll be adding my, when sewing this cape, I'll add my seam allowances and turn this cape appropriately. Alright, so I've traced out the cape. So the cape will be sewn. Once you add your seam allowance, you are going to sew it in between your lining. Okay, after you must have turned it, tested and torn. So the cape will be like this, and you are going to stitch this in between the lining. So now this is all we need for this dress. Next is to cut it out and produce another of it. Then, like I said, if you need a princess dart, just simply go ahead and create your princess dart the way we normally have the princess dart done. So now I'll just cut, because I need you to see how this dress pattern is going to come out at the end of the day. So remember, there's no dart, so I'm not, going through the bust accommodation, because we are cutting this dress exactly the way it should be. So next I want to talk about here is remember we added our darts. That's the dart. So from the center front right now, from the center front, I'm going to take off my dart. So from this center front, my waist is 36 divided by 4 is 9. So I'll just connect it. Remember, we are working dartless, so it's good you take away the dart for a perfect fit. So I'll just take away my dart right now, and I have this to my. Alright, so this is what I have. So I'm going to reproduce this again. I'll just bring in my pepper and reproduce it. I need you to see how the other side is going to look like, because we are going to slash and spread one side while we have the other side without slashing. Alright, so that is that. So I just want you to see how this is going to look like. So when sewing this has to come to this. Can you see? So you are going to sew it. So of course you see the neckline right now. So I just want to match it up accordingly. So where we have the first dart, you are going to make a mark or a notch to it, and this is how the neckline is going to be. Then the cape will come in this way. Can you see that? But then you notice that on the left hand side, that's on the left hand side, there's a slash and spread. So I will keep this pattern. I'm going to cut this pattern without slash and spread. So I'll set it aside with the cape. While this, I'm going to create my slash and spread. So I'm going to slash from the center dart to this point at 2 inches. So it depends on what you the figure you have right there. So from the center, that is where I'm connecting my slash and spread. I'm connecting it to the armhole, and from that armhole I'm going to also take 2 inches into the armhole, or I can do 1 inch, so I don't go too up. So here 2 inches to 1 inch to 1 inch. All right, so I have 1 2 3 2 slash. Then I'm going to cut to have my slash and spread, as you can see right there on the thumbnail. I'll just cut to the armhole. I'll cut. Please don't cut out the armhole parts. Don't cut out the armhole. Can you see that? So that is what I'm going to use for my slash and spread. So I'll just come in with my pepper, as you can see right there. I'll just mark out this way and that way for my slash and spread. So I'm going to keep these parts on this line while I move the rest of them. Okay, so the first part will be on one line while this part moves. So the more pleats you want to give to your slash and spread, the more you move. Can you see that? So I'll just come in with my adhesive right now. Okay, so I'll just touch. You can still use your seal tape to do this, but I'm just going to use my adhesive too. Okay, so my slash and spread, I don't want to spread too much. I'll just be spreading from this point at 1.5. So once I get to 1.5, I'll go ahead and from here 1.5. From here another 1.5. So you just make sure you don't tamper with the armhole. The armhole remains where it is. You can even do 1 inch if you don't want to have too much, pleating or ruffles to that point. So just use your discretion to check, but I think 1.5 is okay. I'm just trying to arrange it appropriately. Okay, so you can see how I did that. So that means this armhole remains the same. So I'll just go ahead and cut from this point to the neckline. Then I'll cut from this point to the armhole, to the side of the dress. So coming over to this part, I'm going to pleat in my slash and spread. So from this point where I have the white pepper, my pleats will be the brown pepper. I'll pick it up, I will kiss it. I'll pick it up and kiss it like this. I'll pick it up here and I'm going to do what? Kiss it once again. So once I've kissed, you can see it on the straight line. So I'll just cut it to that point, and that is how it's going to look like at the end of the day. So if you look at my slash and spread, you can see this is how you are going to cut and add your necessary seam allowances. So by the time you cut your fabric this way, and then you cut this one, the one that will be on the right will be slashed and spread. The one you are going to have on the right will not be slashed and spread. Then you have your cape. I believe this class is understood. So you are going to first of all pleats, run your gather stitches on the pleating, or gathers or pleats, but make sure you secure this with your pleats before you place your cape. So you'll be placing your cape on top after you have pleated, and this is it. Okay, so your lining will be cut using this pattern for both front and back. So if you are cutting your lining, you'll be using this pattern to cut your lining. That means you'll be cutting 2 pieces of the lining. What I mean is after pleating. Okay, if you pleat, it will return back to this. Can you see? If you pleat this into this, it will return back to give you that pleating with your lining inside. So I believe you understand this class. So I will now cut my skirts without a dart, and you'll be cutting a belt. Okay, just with the same fabric you make a belt and attach by the side of this dress. So once you attach by the side of this dress, you take this from here for the front and take from the back and tie by the side. That is how to go about this dress. So thank you very much for coming to this class, and I believe the class was helpful to you. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming, and